As a leader, do you really know what's going on in your industry and what its future is going to look like? I had an interesting conversation a couple of weeks ago. In October, coming up in a few months from now, I'll be speaking at the Bus Industry Confederation's annual conference. And it's a few months away, but a couple of weeks ago, I had my usual briefing call with the conference organizer and the CEO of this organization, the Bus Industry Confederation. And I was really pleased at the way that they're looking at the industry for the future and what they'd like from me. So this association represents owners and operators of buses, coaches, that kind of business. Some of it's private business, some of it's in the government, and there'll be peer representatives from the industry throughout Australia who'll be at that conference. And when you think about it, so these are the people who own and operate buses and coaches and businesses around that. But what does it look like from their customer's view? So as a passenger. So for us as passengers, we don't automatically think about, when we're getting from A to B, we don't just automatically think buses. Even if we're not driving, there are many other forms of transport that we could use. We could be using buses, trains, ferries, trams, and that's only public transport. What if you also add in there ride-sharing services, e-scooters, and also driving ourselves? So there's a number of ways that you could get from A to B. And if you think about that customer journey, it could involve a number of those methods of transport. So I might leave home, get on an e-scooter to get to the train station, catch a train, get out, and then maybe get a ride-sharing service to some bus stop somewhere, and then take a bus to a destination out in further away. And it doesn't only have to be in a metropolitan area. So there may be a number of things that I do, and they're all part of my journey. In this case, literally my customer journey. So I was really pleased when I was speaking to the CEO and the conference organizer of the Bus Industry Confederation that they were not just asking me to talk about the future of this industry, but looking at the future of transport. What's now being called in some sectors the mobility as a service. So how do you get from A to B, and what are all the steps involved in that? And wouldn't it be great if we had a single way for us as customers, as passengers, to be able to map out that journey and to take that journey in a seamless way? In other words, one ticket that rules them all, or one way that we could get from A to B without having to worry about changing and paying again and getting different tickets and all of those complications that happen when you have to change modes of transport. It's easy when it's all, say, public transport that is integrated, but what about if you add these other things as well? And the point I'm making is that it was great to see that this organization is looking at their sector not just narrowly, but looking at it broadly. And as leaders, it's a really important thing for us all to be doing. So as a futurist, I'm often asked to look at what's coming up in the future. So in other words, look further, but less commonly am I asked to look at what's happening more broadly to our industry and our sector. And I think we should be doing both of them. And in fact, I think we should be doing three things. We should be looking deep inside our industry. We should be looking far, in other words, looking at what's coming in the future for the industry, and we should be looking wide. So looking more broadly at things outside that are going to affect our industry, because our world's more connected and integrated than ever before, and things outside our industry are going to have an effect on us. So I'm really looking forward to this conference to be sharing some of those ideas. In fact, I'm looking forward to the conference for two reasons. One is I do get to share some of those ideas. In fact, one of the things I do now for many of my clients when I'm speaking at conferences is beforehand write a detailed report about some of the trends and the external influences that are going to affect the industry, and make that available to delegates at the conference or afterwards. And then in my keynote presentation, I'll just highlight some of the key ideas, and then they can read the report in detail later. So they get both the high level as well as the detail. And the other reason I'm looking forward to this conference is I'm doing an opening keynote presentation on the last day of the conference, and it's actually the day after the gala dinner the night before. And I know many people go along to a conference, especially a national one, from all around the country to network, to reconnect, and to connect with people they haven't met before. And sometimes the morning after that big gala dinner can be when people are a little bit low on energy. Maybe they've spent a lot of time, let's call it networking the night before. So part of my job is to lift the energy in the room and get people back on track for the rest of that day. And I like doing that. It's one of the things that I enjoy doing. I know many people don't, but it's one of the things that I like to do, as well as delivering actual value in the content that I present. So I'm looking forward to that conference. And by the way, if you're a leader and you're interested in learning about seeing into the future in those three areas, like looking deep, looking wide, and looking far, I'm running an online presentation soon. It's free, it's public, it's open to everybody. So you'll find the link to register here, and please feel free to register. It's for leaders, and it's for you if you're interested in knowing more about what's coming up in the future, not just for your business and your organization, but for your industry or sector as a whole. So please register and feel free to share the link with other people as well. It'd be great to have you there. I'll see you in the future.